Hey everybody, welcome back to Wednesday Words here at Reconnect Your Life in the World of Be More. So we come here and we're talking about relationships, and one of the questions that I get asked a lot is what kind of things do you consider when you're going into a relationship? And it's interesting this because I work with people obviously before they make commitment to each other through wedding blessings, marriage. And I also work with couples when things are a little bit rocky. So having what I call a really clear relationship platform is really important. It's really important for you to understand what is your relationship built on, okay? And if you can do this work in the early stages of your relationship, it gives you a communication tool to keep talking to each other when things go a little bit awry, as they of course do. Nothing is smooth sailing. And I really think this is important to think about before you make those big commitments, moving in together, making a commitment to each other, getting married, having a baby. These are big steps, and we can get caught up, of course, in the love and the romance of the relationship. And I don't want you to lose that, because that's what makes relationships fun. But it is important to think about what it is you've got that's going to keep you solid. And so I'm talking about things like, do you know what each other's values are? And do you know what values are important in your relationship? Because if you can identify what values are important to you, what values are important to your partner, and what values come together in the relationship, then you're going to be able to understand what you're working towards. You're also going to be able to understand what buttons will get pushed if your partner isn't respecting those values, or vice versa, or if you feel as though the relationship is going off track. And it gives you a way to talk about things without it becoming, when you do this and I feel this way, and you get all defensive with each other. You can talk about your values. It's important as well to think about what brings you together, reminding yourself, what was it about your partner that attracted you? What was it about the relationship that was important to you? It's important to think about what your roles are going to look like in your relationship. So if you are making that big decision to move in together, to commit to each other, to have a child together, okay, then think about, what's that going to look like? Who's going to do what? Who's going to be the primary carer? Are you both going to work? What do your careers look like? What are your hopes and dreams for the future? Because if one of you wants to go off traveling and one of you doesn't, then you need to have a conversation. If one of you, if career is incredibly important to one of you and it's not important to another, what does that look like? Even down to thinking about what your upbringings were like and what your priorities are in your household. So in terms of what things are, are you really organized and your partner isn't? What will that feel like if you're both living together? How will you compromise? What are your priorities going to be? And of course, taking a step back from that, if you're going into a relationship, are you looking for that long-term commitment, or are you happy with you both living separately and just meeting up and having fun? This is all really important stuff that we don't communicate with. It's amazing that these fundamental steps in a relationship we back away from, because sometimes we don't think we need to have them. Sometimes we assume our partner's going to know and we're going to know. We don't voice our wants and needs, and we're going to have an episode all about how to communicate your wants and needs in a relationship. We don't want to upset them, but actually what we're happy to do is say nothing and then feel frustrated and then kind of forget what brought us together in the first place. So Getting your relationship platform, your values, what's important to you, what your priorities are, how you see the relationship building, what your roles are going to be, making that really, really clear in the early days can help you to build a communication tool that can enable you to come back together, to remind you what brought yourselves together in the first place. I hope that was useful for you. Thanks for that great question. And I look forward to seeing you again here in Wednesday Words. Take care, everybody.